Snuggle in and get cozy. It's story time. Subscribe to our channel now and be the first to hear our exclusive bedtime stories.
Tibo joins the tree climbing race. Tibo, the fluffy, blue-eyed panda, woke up to a soft, rustling sound outside his cozy forest den. As he stretched his paws and peeked through the leafy branches, he noticed something different about the forest today. It felt alive with excitement, even more than usual. Birds chirped lively tunes, and the leaves swayed in a playful breeze. Curious, Tibo trotted toward the clearing where his friends often gathered. The warm sunlight peeked through the trees, casting golden rays on the forest floor. As he arrived, he saw a bustling group of animals, all talking about something big. "It's the tree climbing race," chirped one of the squirrels from the Squirrel Squad, his little paws twitching with energy. "Everyone's getting ready. Even the raccoons are joining." Tibo's eyes widened with surprise and a little spark of excitement. He had never thought of himself as a tree climber. Pandas, after all, preferred munching on bamboo and taking long, peaceful naps. But the idea of a race sounded fun. Maybe he could join in, even if just to enjoy the adventure. He approached his friends, the Raccoon Brothers, who were already plotting their strategy. "Are you going to race, Tibo?" asked one of the raccoons, his eyes twinkling mischievously. Tibo paused, feeling the gentle breeze brush against his fur. He wasn't sure if he'd be any good at tree climbing, but the forest's excitement was contagious. "I think I will," he said with a shy smile. "It sounds like fun." The animals cheered, welcoming Tibo into the race. As the day continued, the excitement of the forest filled the air. But for Tibo, there was no pressure. Whether he climbed fast or slow, he knew it was going to be a joyful day spent with his friends. Tibo stood at the base of a tall oak tree, its branches stretching high into the sky. The squirrels were already darting up and down the trees, their small bodies moving like flashes of light. The Raccoon Brothers tried to figure out the best way to scamper up without slipping, their fluffy tails swaying behind them. Tibo looked up at the towering tree. It seemed so tall, much taller than anything he'd ever climbed before. He took a deep breath, feeling the soft earth beneath his paws. "I can do this," he whispered to himself, thinking of how much fun his friends were having. Placing one paw on the rough bark, Tibo gave a little push. Slowly, he started to climb. The texture of the bark felt strange under his paws, but he kept going, one careful step at a time. His pace was much slower than the squirrels, but that was okay. Tibo wasn't in a hurry. He just wanted to feel the cool breeze from the higher branches. As he climbed, the forest grew quieter, the sounds of his friends below fading into the distance. Tibo noticed the gentle rustling of leaves all around him, like a soft lullaby from the forest itself. He paused to take it all in. The beauty of the forest, the feeling of the wind on his fur and the peacefulness of being surrounded by nature. By the time Tibo reached a low branch, he felt a little tired, but proud. He sat down on the sturdy branch and gazed out at the forest below. The view from up here was wonderful. The sunlight danced through the leaves, and the forest seemed even more magical from this height. For a moment, Tibo closed his eyes and let the peacefulness wash over him. He had made it partway up the tree, and that was enough for now. With a content smile, he climbed back down slowly, feeling more confident about tomorrow's race. Later that afternoon, as the animals gathered for a little break, the wise old owl mentor flew gracefully down from the highest branch. His feathers shimmered in the late afternoon sun, and his kind eyes twinkled as he addressed the eager racers. "Remember," Owl said softly, his voice soothing like the wind through the trees. "The race tomorrow is not just about speed. Climbing is about enjoying the journey and learning from it. You don't have to be the fastest to win something valuable." Tibo listened closely, feeling comforted by Owl's words. His friends, too, nodded thoughtfully. Even the Squirrel Squad, usually so focused on being the quickest, seemed to understand. "Find your own pace," Owl continued, looking around at the group. "Feel the tree, listen to the wind, and let the forest guide you. And most of all, have fun. The best part of the race is simply being with friends." Tibo felt a warm sense of calm settle over him. He wasn't worried about being the fastest anymore. Owl's words had reminded him that the race was about much more than reaching the top first. It was about enjoying the forest, feeling connected to nature, and being with his friends. As the sun began to set, casting soft pink and orange hues across the sky, the animals all agreed to rest for the night. Tomorrow would be a big day, but for now, Tibo felt at peace, knowing that he was ready to enjoy the adventure ahead. The next morning, Tibo woke to the sound of birds singing softly in the trees. The sunlight gently filtered through the leaves above his den, and the forest felt calm and peaceful, despite the excitement of the day ahead. Tibo stretched his paws and took a deep breath of the fresh morning air. Today was the day of the tree climbing race. He could feel a flutter of excitement in his chest, but it wasn't the kind of nervous excitement he had felt before. It was a happy, calm feeling, a sense of excitement that came from looking forward to a fun day with friends. As Tibo made his way to the starting point, he noticed the forest waking up around him. The squirrels were already chattering excitedly, and the Raccoon Brothers were making last-minute plans, whispering about strategies and shortcuts. But Tibo didn't feel the need to rush. He smiled as he took his time, enjoying the peaceful walk through the trees. When he arrived, Owl Mentor was there to greet the racers, his wise eyes twinkling in the morning light. "Remember," Owl said gently, "the most important part of today is to have fun. follow your own path and enjoy every moment." Tibo nodded, feeling a sense of calm settle over him. He wasn't worried about winning or losing anymore. He was simply happy to be a part of the race, to spend time with his friends, and to enjoy the beauty of the forest. As the racers lined up at the base of the trees, Tibo took one last deep breath, feeling the cool, refreshing breeze against his fur. He was ready for the adventure ahead, and no matter what happened, he knew it would be a day to remember. With a cheerful call from Owl Mentor, the race began. The squirrels shot up the trees like little bolts of lightning, their tiny paws gripping the bark with ease. The Raccoon Brothers, though a bit slower, found clever ways to navigate the branches, their mischievous laughter echoing through the trees. Tibo smiled as he began his climb. He placed one paw carefully on the tree trunk, then another, moving slowly and steadily. The sounds of his friends racing ahead filled the air, but Tibo wasn't in a hurry. He climbed at his own pace, enjoying the feeling of the rough bark under his paws and the soft rustling of leaves all around him. As he climbed higher, Tibo noticed the sunlight filtering through the canopy, casting beautiful patterns of light and shadow on the forest floor below. The air up here felt cooler, and the higher he climbed, the more peaceful the forest seemed. Tibo paused for a moment, resting on a wide branch, and looked out over the forest. He could see the squirrels darting from branch to branch, and the raccoons making their way up with determination. But Tibo wasn't focused on them. He was focused on how calm and peaceful the forest felt, how wonderful it was to be a part of this adventure with his friends. As he continued his climb, Tibo's heart was filled with joy. The race wasn't about winning for him. It was about enjoying the beauty of the forest, the feeling of the wind on his fur, and the simple happiness of being surrounded by nature. The higher he climbed, the more at peace he felt. As Tibo climbed higher, the forest around him grew quieter. The sounds of the race seemed far away now, and all he could hear was the soft rustling of the leaves and the gentle whistle of the wind. Tibo felt calm, but as he looked up, he saw that the next part of the tree was much steeper. The branches here were thinner, and the bark was smooth, making it harder to grip. Tibo paused for a moment, wondering how he would make it across. He didn't want to slip, but he also didn't want to give up. Slowly and carefully, Tibo placed one paw on the smooth bark, testing his balance. Just as he was about to take another step, he heard a small, worried voice from above. "Help! I'm stuck!" It was one of the Raccoon Brothers. Tibo looked up and saw the raccoon hanging onto a thin branch, his paws slipping. Without thinking twice, Tibo climbed a little higher, moving toward his friend. "Don't worry, I'm coming," he called, his voice steady and kind. When Tibo reached the raccoon, he carefully extended his paw. The raccoon grabbed on, and together they found a sturdier branch to rest on. "Thank you, Tibo," the raccoon said, his eyes wide with relief. "I thought I was going to fall." Tibo smiled gently. "We're in this race together, aren't we?" he said. "It's not about who climbs the fastest. It's about helping each other along the way." The raccoon nodded, his tail swishing in gratitude. Together, they continued their climb, moving slowly but surely, and Tibo couldn't help but feel proud. He may not be the fastest climber, but he knew he was making a difference. After helping the raccoon, Tibo felt a little tired. The race had been long, and his legs were beginning to feel the weight of the climb. Looking around, he spotted a wide, comfortable branch where he could rest for a moment. Tibo carefully made his way over to the branch and sat down, feeling the gentle sway of the tree beneath him. He took a deep breath, inhaling the fresh scent of pine and moss, and let his body relax. The forest around him was so peaceful. Birds chirped quietly in the distance, and the leaves above him shimmered as the sunlight filtered through. Tibo closed his eyes for a moment, allowing the calmness to wash over him. He wasn't worried about the race or how high he had climbed. He was simply happy to be in the forest, enjoying the quiet beauty of the world around him. As he rested, Tibo thought about the kind words of the owl mentor. "It's not about speed," he whispered to himself. "It's about enjoying the journey." And in that moment, Tibo felt a deep sense of contentment. He had already won something far more important than the race. He had won the joy of being with his friends and appreciating the wonders of the forest. With a peaceful sigh, Tibo opened his eyes and stretched his paws. He felt ready to continue his climb, knowing that it didn't matter how fast he got to the top. What mattered was that he was enjoying every moment of the journey. After his rest, Tibo continued his climb. Step by step, he moved higher, feeling the tree sway gently beneath him. The air was cooler now, and the light from the sun seemed softer, as if the forest itself was winding down for the day. Finally, after what felt like a peaceful eternity, Tibo reached the highest branch he could climb. He pulled himself up and sat on the sturdy branch, looking out over the forest. The view was breathtaking. From up here, Tibo could see the entire forest stretched out before him. Rolling hills covered in trees, sparkling streams winding through the woods, and the distant mountains standing tall against the horizon. The sky above was painted with soft colors as the sun began to set, casting warm golden light over everything. Tibo felt a sense of awe and wonder as he gazed out at the world. He had never seen the forest from this height before, and it made him feel so small, yet so connected to the beauty around him. The wind whispered through the branches, and Tibo smiled, knowing that this moment was a gift. He wasn't the fastest climber, and he hadn't reached the top first, but that didn't matter. What mattered was that he had climbed at his own pace, enjoyed the journey, and found peace in the quiet beauty of the forest. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the forest, Tibo decided it was time to head back down. He carefully climbed down from the high branches, moving slowly and steadily, just as he had climbed up. The forest below was growing quieter as the animals began to finish the race and gather at the base of the trees. When Tibo finally reached the ground, he was greeted with cheers and smiles from his friends. The Squirrel Squad had already finished, and the Raccoon Brothers were catching their breath after their mischievous climb. Everyone looked tired but happy, and Tibo felt a warm glow of pride in his chest. "You did it, Tibo," one of the raccoons said, clapping him on the back. "You climbed all the way to the top." Tibo smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "We all did it," he said gently. "And it was such a beautiful climb." The owl mentor fluttered down from his perch and landed softly in front of Tibo. His wise eyes twinkled as he spoke. "You've shown us all the true meaning of the race, Tibo. It's not about who finishes first. It's about enjoying the journey, being kind to your friends, and finding peace in the moment." Tibo nodded, his heart filled with happiness. He had learned so much from the race, not just about climbing, but about life, friendship, and the beauty of nature. After the race, the animals gathered in the clearing for a small celebration. The sun had set, and the sky was now a deep shade of blue, with twinkling stars beginning to appear. A soft breeze rustled the leaves, and the forest seemed to hum with contentment. Tibo sat with his friends, enjoying the calm evening. The excitement of the day had faded, replaced by a gentle peace that settled over the forest like a soft blanket. Tibo felt his eyes growing heavy, and he yawned quietly. The owl mentor fluttered by, his voice low and soothing. "It's time to rest now, Tibo," he said with a kind smile. "You've had a wonderful adventure, and now it's time to let your body and mind relax." Tibo nodded sleepily. The day had been filled with excitement, laughter, and joy, but now it was time to rest. He curled up in the soft grass, feeling the warmth of the earth beneath him and the cool night air on his fur. The sounds of the forest at night, the gentle rustling of leaves, the soft chirping of crickets, lulled him into a peaceful state. As Tibo closed his eyes, he thought about the wonderful day he had shared with his friends and how much he had enjoyed the journey. With a soft sigh, he drifted off to sleep, dreaming of new adventures to come. Good night, dear one. Just like Tibo, you've had a full day of excitement and joy, and now it's time to rest. Close your eyes and let the peaceful sounds of the night surround you. Dream of beautiful adventures and kind friends, knowing that tomorrow will bring even more fun and happiness. Sleep well, and may your dreams be as bright and gentle as the stars above. Sweet dreams.